Welcome back, Ramley. You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon, where you get your fixing on all the latest and greatest men's VCU basketball. Let's go. All right. Yesterday, VCU at Vandy. How did we go? How did we look? And if I had to describe it in one word, I would say ferocious. I have never been more like I've been there's plenty of games where I've been proud of VCU basketball, but this game is definitely up there for me uh, because they responded to adversity, or they responded from after a disappointing loss on Saturday. Um, People stepped up. Freshmen, uh, from Kern to none. We'll get into that. But it was really satisfying to watch this team perform. Um, so let's get into the first half. First half, I have to be real. I missed the first few minutes, just around the house. But one of our issues did rear its head pretty early, and it was the offensive end, where we just were struggling to score. And I know Vandy's 1-3-1 had a lot to do with that. It was confusing us to the point where we would swing the ball, we would get good shots, and then we would have shots. We wouldn't take them because we were unsure if they were good shots or if we were open. So I have to commend Vandy on doing a good job of confusing us in the first half. Um, However, we're still getting a lot of good shots that that we could hit, but we just weren't. Um, and I think one of the biggest things when you're facing the zone is you have to be comfortable attacking the zone and getting into the paint, uh, and then creating from there, swinging around perimeter. I mean, if you got some great knockdown shooters, I mean, I guess that would work. I guess it could work, but usually to break down the zone, you have to get into the paint, um, get the defense to collapse, and then kick out, or you have a drop down, something like that. Um, but the one thing I will say that I love to see is something I talked about on the last episode. Was basically we use defense as our calling card, man. We halfway through the first half, the score was 8-9, and then some people who are pessimistic, like, dang, we can't score. Like, what's wrong with our offense? I mean, you could, but that's like looking at the bottle half empty. Um, but if you're looking at it half full, we had Vandy at 8 points. We held Vandy to 8 points for 10 minutes, and that's really good. And if our offense isn't clicking like that, defense has to be our calling card. And like I said before, great defensive teams will always be in games because they're playing defense. And last night, if we could defend like that every night, I think we're going to be in good shape. Because I don't think that our players aren't capable of scoring the ball. But I think that people have to adjust to gaining more responsibility due to the injuries. Um, None. Like, don't get me wrong. I really think Ace is a really good point guard. He's the point guard for VCU right now. But none. I think these minutes are going to benefit him tremendously, moving into like conference play time, because he's going to have so many minutes under his belt. He's going to have experience. Coaches always say, by the time conference play starts, if you've been getting a lot of take, you're no longer a freshman anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at your typical freshman, they don't play as many minutes as somebody like none. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be very beneficial for him. Even Nick Kern, he gave us some really, really, really great minutes. So I was really excited about that. Let me get to some of these notes and some of these things that were on my mind throughout the game. What I seen from VCU, as right now we're like a scat cat team, and for those who for those who play AAU basketball, you may have an understanding of this. I played for a Reebok team in Florida, Jacksonville Lee Bulls, and when you play for a sponsored team like that, you usually have like top players from your state, or at least from a certain area of your state, depending on how big your state is. And we were always going to games with, thinking we should win, and unless we played like another sponsored team, it was going to be a good game. But there were always these teams where the biggest guy would be like 6'3", and everybody else would probably be like 6'1" across the board. And on the optics, you would think, oh, we're going to bust these cats up. But it couldn't be further from the truth. These guys were scat cats. Everybody was crazy about defense. Everybody hustled their tail off. Everybody was running around. Everybody was talking. Everybody was diving on the floor, taking charges, fouling hard. It was these are called scat cat teams, or at least where I'm from. And I couldn't help but think of VCU as one of these scat cat teams where if you look at our numbers offensively, you're probably like, oh, opposing teams probably like, oh, we can score on them, we can beat them. But it's a totally different thing once you step out on that floor, because the energy and the passion we played with last night makes you proud to be a VCU fan, right? The effort was just through the roof. It was through the roof. VCU was attacking the ball last night. Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to wake up this morning like, yo, what the just happened? Blitzing him on the ball screens. Every time he got the ball screen, it was 2 men on him. And I don't think I'm not sure if we blitzed ball screens this year yet as much as we did last night, because he just looked unprepared for that. Jumping like as a point guard, you got to attack the big's hip and get around, or if you do have to pick the ball up, you pump fake up and step through to pass the ball. But he kept leaving his feet trying to jump and pass the ball, allowing the trap to carry him to a dead corner and then trying to pass out of it. We completely took him out of the game. And the beautiful thing about it was Scottie Pippen Jr. had 30 points in the previous game. Now, I don't know if y'all know how hard it is to get 30 points in a game, but that's pretty impressive no matter what level you're on. 30 points a game is pretty tough. So I was impressed by how we handled that. And I usually don't thank the refs. I usually don't thank refs. But last night, the refs allowed the guys to really play. And what I took from that was I appreciate that, because if they're going to allow VCU to play physical with the defense that we have, it's going to be a long night for anybody. And I mean that. For anybody, it's going to be a long night. We have some guys who are really, really invested on the defensive end. And then we have a college version of Dikembe Mutombo and Hassan Ward, I think he had 5 blocks last night, who was changing shots and throwing shots into the stands. And it was just like we had to fight this hard to get past or to try to get to the cup. And then after that, we got to try to shoot over this guy. Bro, it was amazing to watch. It was exciting to watch, and especially me being a defensive guy. it made me proud. Um, so let's talk about Vince Williams. 'Cause I gave him some harsh criticism our last episode, and it wasn't really, it was constructive criticism, because you know I've been there. I've been there before. I know how the energy you give off affects the others around you, especially in a leadership role. Um, and last night I saw a couple things didn't go his way, and I know I wasn't there at Vandy, but it just seemed on the TV that he wasn't as of a negative Nancy body language wise. It looked like he was locked in. It looked like he was more of a leader, and he scored like it. He played defense like it. He assisted like it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sure if he had a ton of assists, but he kept making the right play, and that's all you can ask for a leader, right? So I'm proud. I'm proud that Vince responded in the way that he did, and that's what we're going to need from here on out, because we're down two, and we have to work with what we have, and what we have is plentiful. You know what I mean? So, excuse me, it's plentiful. So we got to make sure all our ducks are in order to be successful as we can be. Another treat last night for me was our offensive rebounding. Um, I don't think I've ever seen VCU dominate the boards like that before. And if I have, I mean, I could be mistaken, but I don't believe that I've seen that before. Every time we got a shot up, we had a guy sprinting in hard as all get out, getting their hand on the ball to give us a second chance at a shot. Let me pull this up because I'm pretty sure we shot more attempts and we crushed them on the rebounds. I'm pretty sure of it. Let me pull up the exact numbers because it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. The effort, like I said, the effort was so beautiful to watch. And I just believe that if VCU can attack the boards and get their hands on rebounds like that, especially if with our offensive struggles, we're gonna have to be dogs on the defensive end and on the boards, right? Because we're gonna need more attempts. You know what I mean? We're gonna need more attempts. We're gonna need some second chance opportunities. And for those who don't know, once you get a rebound, offensive rebound, the chances of you scoring, statistics wise, doubles, or just about. It's crazy. Team stats. All right, let's look at this. Rebounds. Huh. It was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. We out-rebounded them by 5. They actually had more offensive rebounds. We had more defensive rebounds. And look, and I'm looking at the stats here, and they're very close. Like the free throws, 66 for us, 64 for them. Threes, we hit 6, they hit 2. They really struggled from the 3-point line. Field goal percentage 32, 22. You know what I mean? They actually got one more attempt up than us. We had 9 assists, there 5, 8 to 8 steals, 7 blocks to 6 blocks. I mean, if you look at the stats, they're really close. But I feel like we completely dominated the game, and that's just strictly off the one stat I see is the field goal percentage. They had shot 22% from the field. That's amazing. That's 22%. That's amazing. And we did that strictly off sure will and want to. Amazing. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk about some of the contributing guys from last night. Of course, we talked about Nick. So let's get into Jaden Nunn. I've been hearing about Jaden Nunn from some sources for a while now about how he practices, how he puts in extra work, how he's a basketball head, a gym rat. So when he struggled a little bit coming out the gates, it kind of took me by surprise. But at the same time, I couldn't be too surprised because he is a freshman still. You got to get used to that game. You got to get used to the crowd. You got to get used to traveling on the road like that. It's just a different beast. But last night we kind of got to see his potential, right? It's like he's starting to figure it out a little bit. Of course, he still has some freshman things that they're gonna get resolved as time goes on. But there's no denying what we saw as far as him being able to understand and get in the paint, handling ball pressure, getting his shot off, getting to the free throw line. Like, these are important things. His ability to knock down the long range shot. And I think he only took like one or like two or three. But I think from looking at his form and his confidence level, even seeing him coming from high school, I felt like he was 2 for 3. I don't think that's a fluke. I think he can really, once he gets the confidence and understands good shots, I think he's going to be really, really good. I think he has a really good chance to be like a really great VCU player when it's all said and done. And having a healthy ace in Nunn is going to resemble last year with the unspoken name. We don't speak around here, but that was my guy. So I loved his game. So I think Jaden Nunn has a chance to be really good too. And I don't think we could talk about yesterday's game without bringing up Nick Kern, right? What I seen from that young man was very, very impressive. His his drive to get up and play defense. I'm telling you what, ever see somebody play defense with a fist clenched? You see somebody play defense with a fist clenched? They locked in. They are locked in. Trust me. So it was definitely good to see him. The scoring was good. His aggressiveness to the basket. He seems very comfortable scoring in the paint amongst the trees. And that's going to be something good to see. I mean, and it was only right that he did it when he did, because my man, Keyshawn Curry, was in foul trouble the majority of the game. And Nick Kern stepped up and contributed and was the second leading scorer. No, he was the third leading scorer. But still, you know what I mean? He that's great. We had Vince score 14, and then the next two leading scorers were our freshmen, Nunn and Kern. Hell of a way to step up, but this was a team win though. The defense and the effort and the havoc, the intensity. It was so refreshing to see, and I just hope that we can continue this and keep pushing forward and build on this. Because don't get me wrong, even though it was a very impressive win, it wasn't a perfect win. We still have a lot of areas where we can get better. And I have 100% confidence in our coaching staff that they're going to work and continue to push these guys to become great. Because I know a lot of fans, including myself, were concerned after Saturday's game, like, how's this going to go? How's it going to work out? But I think we found the answer, and the answer is hanging our hat on the defensive end. If we could, like I said, if we continue to lock in the way we did yesterday, we have the ability to beat anybody. And I don't mean that. I'm not. It's not just trying to boost anybody up. There's no cap. That's all facts. So super proud of our guys. And I do want to give a shout out to Tsunami Sahonis. He's not really shooting the ball well as of right now. I think he's just trying to figure it out, but he still found ways to impact the game. And I do want to give a shout out because sometimes guys can get really down on themselves when their shot's not going. But it was encouraging to see him not be afraid to impact the game in other ways. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. You know what I mean? So I felt like he still found a way to impact the game. His ball pressure, it was a lot. So there's still some stuff we can build on. Mikael Brown-Jones played pretty good. Yeah, so it was an all-around team win, man. I'm so proud of the guys. So until next time, and we got Chattanooga next. They're a 3-0 team, so I can't wait to see what they're about. But yeah, so till next time, Ramley, stay safe. Much love. Peace.